Adolescents and young adults collectively spend an estimated time of 5.2 billion hours on social media daily. Most people believe this is a harmless pastime. However, it impacts not only how people spend their time, but also how they think, like their ideas of masculinity and femininity. Social media's influencing nature can be a pipeline to more extreme, toxic thinking, such as the tradwife and manosphere communities, which are opposite sides of the same coin.
If a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman.
Who's here with your top priority? Your top priority is get married and have kids. Raise your hand. Okay.
Right. So I believe that we're here to reproduce.
Right?
Have more babies than you can afford.
A majority of modern women today are undesirable to men in general because they don't have feminine traits and they're not traditional.
You actually took a hammer to your face to shape your jawbone.
Yeah, well, it's all on YouTube.
Women are able to exist. That's a really good reason.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
And maybe that's where we fucked up, you guys. We let women vote. No offense.
I think of a tradwife as someone who's like their whole life and their duties and everything, their passion, everything centers around their home, taking care of their family, being there for their family, taking care of themselves, right? Obviously not like just letting ourselves go.
Tradwives, the term coined to abbreviate traditional wives, represents a trend on social media of women choosing to embrace traditional gender roles. In doing so, they romanticize family values and expectations, which were seemingly left in the 1950s, of women's sole purpose to be male-oriented homemakers who catered to their husbands.
I'm Amy. I've been doing social media for a few years now. I was a stay-at-home wife for 5 years, I think, before I had my first kid. I just stopped working. And then I was just home, and I decided, like, I'll do social media because that'll be fun.
I think it's a form of escapism, but I love the videos because I really actually like the idea of having like a little homestead and not having to worry about money or bills or climbing a career ladder and everything's taken care of.
The trad wife, the idea of the traditional, putting traditional word in there is often meant to imply that there will not be equal decision making on all important matters. She can maybe pick out the color of the curtains, but where they're going to live and whether or not she works, these questions are not going to be under her domain.
When there was this huge push for women to vote, there were a ton of women who were like, I don't want to vote. I'm already managing my home, taking care of my kids. I don't need another thing to do that my husband can do just as well as me. So no, I don't care about voting.
The idealization, the nostalgic idealization of the past traditional marriage relationships is playing a big role here.
I think that aesthetic of white womanhood that has been held up as an ideal is something that the tradwife content creators and influencers are really tapping into. Even those, though, who aren't white are also still constructing their appearance in a way that is emphasizing those features of white femininity as well.
It's not like a liberating choice necessarily. It's such a privilege to be a tradwife here. I feel like people don't get that. My friends go through those when it comes to like Arabs, Spaniards. It's always the women that are left to do all of like the cleaning, cooking, basically just running the household, and the men get the credit for it.
The manosphere is a subculture on social media with its own ideology on men's issues and expectations, but often in a toxic and in a light which opposes feminism. This subculture is fueled by podcasts, influencers, and political figures.
People in that community would claim that feminism has really sidelined men. They would say that feminism has devalued, dominance and control and power in ways that have not actually resulted in society progressing in any particular way.
It's stupid. Like this one podcast, Fresh and Fit, it was talking about how like all women are money hungry. If you ain't got this, you'll never get a girl and blah, blah, blah. But then they bring on only women that think like that. And then we'll sit here and say, this is how the collective thinks.
As a guy and having seen this like firsthand, a lot of it is, you'll see people that are insecure in themselves. They'll kind of look for an escape in a sense. They'll begin not necessarily following them, but, taking bits and pieces of advice and, agreeing to them. And then slowly over time, it becomes like okay, now we're following this person and everything they say is going to make me a better person.
Looksmaxing, a community of adolescent teenagers and young adults pursuing unrealistic looks through toxic and harsh ways. This collective is inspired by the ideals of the manosphere world and is directly influenced by their messages.
I do know what looksmaxing is. It's just trying to improve your appearance. I saw a YouTube video about it. I'll give you like a couple terms like JBW. It means just be white. It's tossed around a lot, and it's, I guess, used to promote that one race is necessarily more attractive or better than the other. Like if they were younger, what they could have done to necessarily be taller.
In today's video, we'll be going over some data showing that height is as important as your facial attractiveness. One cannot exist without the other.
I did take steps to, I guess, try and increase my height, going the pharmaceutical route, obviously under medical supervision. I took human growth hormone and aromatase inhibitor. There's a lot of dangerous compounds, like seriously, that's promoted. And without like proper medical supervision or even just simply having an understanding of what it does, it's just not good.
What drugs do you take in a day? I'm taking testosterone every single day. I take minoxidil for my hair. I take dutasteride for my hair. I take 7.5 milligrams of Accutane a day. I use crystal meth as a stimulant and Tolene Max.
There's always a question with digital culture or culture in general, like is politics downstream of culture or is culture downstream of politics?
Well, the one thing that I do feel certain about is that females are not going to go back to subordination. I mean, even trad wives, I think some trad wives believe that they can have a traditional marriage of a certain sort, but they have no intention of just accepting abuse, accepting disrespect, accepting violence toward their children or themselves.
My advice, first, having the self-awareness about what you're doing online and what you like and don't like. And then second, to be able to understand and critique what it is you're seeing and how it is nested within these broader contexts of economics and politics and history.